Hello and welcome all you ladles and jelly spoons. I'm the devil in your head, CJ Middle, and today I'm telling you to listen to my review of The World Is Yours by the legendary band Motorhead.
How do you know the CIA weren't involved in the Kennedy assassination? He's dead, isn't he?
I actually have a quick little story I want to share with you all before we get started. So when I was growing up, my dad used to make it seem like Motorhead was a bad band. Every time he'd hear the name Motorhead, he'd do this really bad voice and sing just this one phrase, "The Ace of Spades! The Ace of Spades!" That's pretty much what it sounded like, honestly. I'm kind of impressed with myself. However, I know Motorhead now isn't a bad band, and my dad was just exaggerating, or he has bad taste in music. Released all the way back in 2010, this is Motorhead's second to last album, and is 5 years before we lost the man, the legend, the Lemmy. If you heard my review on Motorhead's album 1916, you'll know how I mentioned Lemmy grew as a songwriter and the music had a strong rock and roll influence on that one. Well, The World Is Yours is actually rather similar to 1960, and I'll explain why. So on this album, the speed metal aspect of Motorhead is basically gone.
And it's gone.
Instead, we get like a mixture of heavy metal and hard rock, which I'm all fine with. This album musically is not like their earlier stuff, obviously, but, well, let me just go on and tell you. So the riffs on here are quite good, the songwriting is quite good, and Lemmy still delivers his signature vocals without issue, considering that like the time this was recorded, Lemmy was, I don't know, probably in his 60s or something. I know that doesn't sound old, but we're talking about Lemmy here. The guy who used to drink like a bottle of Jack Daniels every single day and smoke endless amounts of cigarettes and stuff like that. So just the fact that Lemmy made it to 60 years old, actually, no, he died when he was like 70 something, but just the fact, like, you know, he even made it that far, that just goes to show how much of a badass he was. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So it's just really cool to hear Lemmy go from repeating the name of songs like he did on Overkill to actually writing more intricate lyrics. It's a progression I'm really glad I got to hear, and I'm really glad it occurred too. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't like Motorhead that much. Like I've mentioned before, I'm not a fan of repeating lyrics of like the song name. Now, as I've said, Lemmy grew as a songwriter. However, the song structures on here never really changed that much. I mean, I'm not expecting anything like Tool or anything like progressive or weird like that. However, it does take down the album a little bit. And I wouldn't necessarily say it ruins the album, but it does knock it down a few points. Mainly because it's really just the same thing over and over. But at the same time, though, I know, and everyone else should know by now, that you don't go into a Motorhead album expecting anything fancy, anything quite like that. Regardless of that, though, I feel like there could have been a little more creativity put into the song structures, or, you know, just something to make it stand out, or each track stand out from each other. Overall, I'd have to say that this is a good/great album. It's cool to hear Motorhead playing metal and rock all the way into the 2000s, and it just goes to show that even older bands are still kicking ass today, like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. Kind of like when Judas Priest released Firepower. I mean, that album put them back on the map. That just went to show, like, hey, we may be old.
I've fallen, and I can't get up!
Hang on, I'll transfer your call.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
But we can still make some fucking amazing music, and I think Judas Priest really did a good job of demonstrating that, as well as Motorhead on here, although I think Judas Priest did it better. Thank you all for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you tell a friend to do the same, and I will see you at the next review.